Welcome to the Freight Agent Insider Podcast, hosted by Levi Van Pay.
And welcome in, Freight Fanatics. Your host here, Levi Van Pay, coming to you from the frozen tundra, the sticks of Wisconsin. It is actually starting to feel chilly. Over the weekend, I was on a little vacation in northern Wisconsin, and the pools were still open. I could not believe it. So that was something new to me. Typically, it's starting to get cold this time of year, and I thought, what the heck? Well, sure enough, I woke up this morning and it was very cold. So here we are. I hope everybody's ready for Q4 and a little bit of cold weather. Let's get the Christmas weather rolling. Quick show note, anybody who has not liked, subscribed, followed us on TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, please do. If you could leave like a 5-star review or a comment, those things truly do help. Today, I've been really looking forward to this show for one reason in particular. Something that's always really interested me in freight, and I haven't had a whole lot of access to it on the agent side, the brokering side, is Hazmat freight. So today we have the queen of Hazmat with us. She is an incredible person, an incredible agent. I would like to introduce everybody to Lusine Arakelyan. Lusine, how are you today?
Hey, Levi, doing well. Thank you very much for kind words. Wow, Queen, say it. So,
I mean,
thank you. Thank you very much. Doing well. And you?
I'm excellent. I'm much better now that we are finally doing this. I was a little bit hesitant to ask you. I didn't want to completely fall flat with a huge no, but you were extremely gracious and you just jumped at it. So I think this is going to be extremely beneficial for anybody out there who has any interest or inclination to do hazmat freight.
Yes.
Lusine, I would love to hear how you got into the agent world. Were you always into freight and it just was kind of a natural transition for you, or kind of what is the story that led you to where you are now?
Yeah. So I'll give you a brief background of mine. So my specialty is psychology. I am a psychologist. And I started a brokerage, like a freight industry, 10 years ago, and I've started in the carrier dispatch side. So I was dispatching dry van, refrigerated and power only trucks drivers, and it was a company that it wasn't too big, like 5 to 10 trailers and approximately 15 trucks. So I was dispatching their freight. This is how I have started in this freight industry. Before that, I have been in like sales, I have been in tourism, and so yeah, now I'm in the freight industry. And how I'd say, we start in a brokerage. Some brokerage company reach out to me through the Indeed, and they just told me that we have an agency structure. We want to work with you. Your sales experience, they was attractive from my sales background. Like I have a huge sales background, honestly. And yeah, and then I start to work with them, start to talk with the shippers and to the brokers, brokerage companies here. And I understand like that the carrier who has 5-10 trucks, there are some difficulties to reach out to direct shippers because of some requirements. And once I noticed it, I understand that I want to be a real broker. So I start to find another company, another brokerage company who can be a family for me, who can give me some directions, etc. And I found a pretty good company. I worked with them for almost 2 years. And now I'm with the third company. I changed again. It's a Coop Logistics, and I'm working currently with them. And so this is a little bit how I like move my path through the agency model. And just everyone who is listening to me now, I just want to say that it's not easy, but it's not too difficult. So if you know what to do and if you want to do something, you can do it, and you can develop some skills. Because like I said before, with our call to Levi, I haven't any kind of experience in freight industry when I start to cold calling. I mean, yeah, I have an experience in sales, and it gave me like a lot of opportunity how to talk, how to open the conversation, how to close the conversation. Yeah, but the main thing is that freight industry and sales in freight in logistics is something different than sales in B2C or just another word, right?
Absolutely.
Because I mean, you need to understand the industry. You need to learn the industry. And what I will suggest everyone, it doesn't matter you're an agent, broker, or a shipper, or a logistics or shipping manager, right? It's the key is to learn your industry, to know your job. Because if you are learning and you are studying everything, it doesn't matter just you're in freight, you're studying the freight. No, you need to study your commodity, you need to study the industry news, updates, whatever is going on, etc. So when you have this in your hand, you can grow. This is the key. You need to learn. You need to read and you need to learn. So. And yeah, this is pretty much how I start my agency. So learning, reading, learning, and doing the calls every single day.
Absolutely.
And I remember my first shipper, and it was like wow for me that they provide me a quote. Or finally, I did, I don't know, 1,000 calls, and finally, one small shipper give me a quote. And till now, I'm working with the shipper.
That's the hardest one to get, is the first one.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, when you're continuously working on the thing you are doing, so you have all the way to success. So if you do something and you do it consistently and you're learning, no way to not success. This is from my experience.
Yeah, I've always said, don't, and you with the psychology background, you might agree with me on this, Lusine, but wake up determined. Don't wake up motivated. Motivation will go away. If you come to the table every day with determination, you're calling the shippers, you stick to that schedule, eventually things will work out in your favor. But being determined in this industry, and it sounds like you are extremely determined to get the first shipper. How did you transition from, kind of that first shipper? How did you transition that into Hazmat, which is, to me, one of the most confusing, scary, niche specific commodities that you can move?
Yeah, I will tell you how it happened. So I have started to move all kind of shipments, right? So I've moved dry van shipments, temperature control freight, like I said, power only freight, because I knew how it's working, and I have a good relationship with my customers. So one day, one of my customers told me, "Hey, Lusine, you're moving like dry van shipment. Can you move a Hazmat dry van shipment, which is like a little bit easy than the shipment right now I'm moving, like ISO tank shipments or rail car shipments." And I start to read about what that hazardous freight means. So what does classification mean? What is class 1, class 6, class 3? How it identified the way we need to ship, the way we need to handle the commodity itself. So I start to learn the hazardous freight. I start to read it, and I told my customer that I'm ready to move your hazardous freight. So she provided me a quote. I started to look the reliable carriers for hazardous freight, and I never did it through the boards. Never. So not the DAT, not the truck stop. I start to call reliable carriers in this specific area, and I start to talk to them. I explain the commodity, and I even asked help from my partner carriers. This is very important thing whenever you're working with your partner. Carriers are our partners. So we need to understand them, and they know, they may know more than us, because they are the person there, the company who are holding the freight, right? And I start to ask the questions one another. So, and I learned from my career partners as well. And I start to move like hazardous freight, like van hazardous freight. And then, so when I start to move this freight, I understand that chemical industry is something that's very, very interesting for me. And why it's interesting, because it's facing a lot of challenges, and I'm the person who loves to win. So
That's right. That's right. I love it.
And hey, this is some niche I can so study. I can be a professional here, and I can face the challenges, and I can overcome the challenges, and this give me like wings to fly. So that's why I start to participate in exhibitions in chemical world. So I have participated
like trade shows.
Yes, exhibitions, conferences, trade shows, which is like specifically for chemical world. No other logistics person was there, only me. So,
Wow.
and yeah, and the first attempt was a little bit difficult, because they're not waiting, like you're coming across the booth of like a manufacturing company, and they're waiting some raw material manufacturer or someone who will buy their product, etc. And here you go, you're saying, hey, I'm a person who is moving the chemical freight, hazardous freight.
Right.
And I have like from every exhibition, I'm acquiring at least 2-3 customers. So I learned to develop my skills here as well, how to acquire new customers through the trade shows. And during this time, one of my customers told me that they want to move like ISO tanks and rail car shipments. They want to lease rail cars. They want to utilize transloading, washing, heating facilities for ISO tank shipment. And again, here I start to learn. I start to, I don't know, you can't imagine how many hours and days I put on learning the chemical freight industry. And
it had to have been substantial.
Yes, and I don't know, I've been learning the commodity. I've been learning what the crystal is, what the epoxy is, what the resin is, what kind of structure it has. And it is very interesting. And so this is simply saying how I start. My customer asked me for help, and I start to study and learn this industry. And I will say that
incredible.
Yes, it's incredible, and I'm so grateful to her. So she opened this industry for me.
And it sounds like with these conferences, trade shows, exhibitions you're going to, you mentioned that there's not a lot of brokers there. Is it because, just as an example, I'll back up a little bit, but there's a lot of brokers, there's a lot of agents I know. One of the main methods they have for finding new customers is exactly what you're doing. They're going to trade shows, they're going to these different conferences, but there's a lot of brokers there, and it's the typical commodities. It might be wood, it might be steel, it might be something that everybody, low-hanging fruit, everybody's going for. You are so niche specific, and you are a true master of your craft. And
Thank you.
What I find interesting about this is that I don't think there's a lot of brokers going after what you're going after. Is there something about the hazmat side that makes it difficult for other brokers to get into? And outside of just learning the commodity, how do other brokers attempt to get into hazmat freight?
So hazmat freight is really complicated freight. It's really complicated freight because it can cost a life of a person if you're doing something wrong, right? And a lot of brokers, I'm not saying like this one is good, another one is bad. No, nothing personal, but a lot of brokers, agents, or persons in logistics, they do not like challenges. So to be able to enter in this world, it's very, very important when I'm repeating, learning, studying. This is the main key, yeah. So it's a headache. Really, it's a headache. When I'm moving my ISO tank, it will take me like the whole day with one ISO tank. So this ISO tank, let's say we have an ISO tank. The ISO tank, before arriving to the shipper location, I need to take care of this ISO tank to be washed. So I need to find a right direction, the right facility where the tank will be washed. I need to make sure that it will be washed with the right material. In some commodity can be washed only hot water, another commodity can be washed with the soda, and the third commodity it can be washed like with the chemical other materials that will help to clean the whole ISO tanks. Because if the ISO tanks is not clean, it's not washed clearly, it will have some infraction with the new product, and in the end of the day we will have not clean product. It will be a claim. The customer will not have the product they want, and etc. So you understand what kind of chain it can occur, right? So a lot of brokers, they let's say the ISO tank arrived to the shipper, then it get loaded. After it's loading, I need to talk to the carrier and to advise the. I'm moving liquid, right? Let's say that it's an ISO tank. What kind of temperature we need? So this ISO tank needs to be moved from point A to point B. Point B. Let's say we have difference 200 miles from point A to point B. During these 200 miles, the ISO tank doesn't need to be heated additionally. But if we have 300 and more miles during the road, it will lower the temperature, and we need to get heated the ISO tank and steam heated, right? Steam heated the ISO tank, so it will have another temperature. So it will be arrived to the location and will be able to unload it. If we won't have a real temperature, we won't be able to unload it. It's a liquid. So we need to unload it. So after unloading, again, we have the same chain that we need to clean, etc. And during unloading also, you need to know what kind of ISO tank you have, what kind of ISO tank shipper have, because sometimes the receiver doesn't have pump. Sometimes the receiver doesn't have the hoses, which are very, very specific for unloading, specific requirements for unloading for ISO tanks. So why I'm describing this so in details, because I know a lot of people that they just do not want to have this headache. This is the key. They just do not. It's a headache, but if you love
That's
it,
right.
It's a great headache. I love this kind of headache.
I imagine it's a profitable headache as well. Once
yes.
you, yes. Lusine, you early on you mentioned that you were making a lot of cold calls to find shippers. Let's just say, for example, somebody out there is making cold calls and they land on a hazmat shipper. They give them a shot. What is the vetting on the other side of this? Outside of getting the customer, I imagine in hazmat, the second hardest part outside of actually landing the customer is having the carriers at your disposal who know what they're doing, because this is such a specific process, like you're talking about, like washing ISO tanks. What is the vetting process for hazmat carriers? What are the insurance requirements for hazmat carriers? I'm sure they're a little bit different. And how do you find them?
So if it's just on hazmat freight, like with a van, it's hazmat with a van, you just go to the Google, search hazmat carriers in let's say this industry, and then when you have their MC number, you're going to look around what kind of MC they have, and have some do some research again through Safety Web, to 411 or My Carrier Portal. And also it depends what kind of company are you working with. Let's say if your company has carrier companies already set up in the system, that may help, and you just need to call and say, I have this kind of shipment, etc. And DAT also is helping for like van hazmat shipment, when you are posting van hazmat, and a lot of carriers can call you, and then you're checking if this is a hazmat carrier and it's hazmat certificate. You need to check if they have a hazmat certificate, and if they have it, and if everything is okay, you can move forward with this. So specifically with the hazardous van freight, it's a little bit easier than when you're going to hazardous chemical freight, which is liquid. It's a bulk freight, ISO tank freight, and railcar freight. With this type of shipments, you need to dive deep in it. So you're looking for, again, through the system, what kind of carriers there are in the market, let's say, who move ISO tank shipment. Then you're reaching out to them. And so I have a carrier, I did the setup 6 months. So because they have their own requirements and our company has their own requirements. And when you're doing this type of setups, the carrier is only moving the freight. They do not have the facilities. They cannot like do transloading, or they cannot do the washing or heating. Then you're starting to look for facilities who have the transloading, again, by calling, by introducing and sending the SDS sheet, like safety data sheet, because it's the important part of the hazardous freight. You need to know what kind of commodity you are moving, right? And what kind of class it is. Sending this safety data sheet and telling them the product, etc. And then after then, when you're set up with them, you're starting to move the freight. It's a different story about the railroad providers like Union Pacific, CSX, BNSF, Northern Southern, etc. With them, setup is really, really very difficult, very difficult. They have very strict requirements for the financial background of your company, and like they are not working with other companies, let's say small brokerages maybe. So I mean, they need to know what kind of background your company has,
Right.
so they give you a credit limit, so you will be able to move your freight. And let's say for railcar shipments, one railcar shipment can cost like 9,200, another one can cost 12,000, and so you need to have a stable financial background to be able to set up with this kind of companies.
Right.
All the way you need to call, you need to establish relationship. Again, the relationship should be the key. So you need to establish good relationship with your carriers, with your rail providers, with your customers. So I hope I answer your question.
You did. And I'm sure this is a topic that you could go on for hours about. It's so in depth.
Yes.
But you did an excellent job of answering that. And with that, Lusine, we will transition to our very last segment here. Pitfalls, horror stories. This is probably a niche within freight that could have some very harsh consequences if something goes wrong. Hopefully nothing has ever gone seriously wrong on any of your movements that you've done. But is there any pitfalls and or horror stories that you have that might be able to help somebody out there who is trying to dabble in hazmat freight, help them avoid?
I don't have mine. I mean, I didn't have any kind of specific situation, but one of my customers has, and I am aware of this situation because I jumped and covered this freight, and I helped her with this situation. So it was two or 3 days ago, I don't remember, I posted about the safety data sheet. What does it mean, and who knows about it, etc. So my requirement to all of my partners that anyone who is starting the chemical freight, whether it's a broker, agent, or I don't know, manufacturer, logistics manager, etc., right, in this industry, they need to understand safety data sheet, because once we have a situation that a broker sent a truck to the shipper without the specific, and the carrier hasn't the specific class certification, hazardous class certification. In hazardous freight, we have several classification which covered each commodity. And one carrier, let's say, can move class 9, another carrier cannot move it. And the same thing is about the brokerage company. Let's say your brokerage company can move class 9 because it has a specific insurance requirement, but the same brokerage maybe has some difficulties with the insurance to cover like the class 6.1 or class 3.
Right.
So, and it figures out that this carrier wasn't like for this specific hazmat class, which was like class 6. And the good thing is that just the shipper, the loading facility noticed it. Otherwise, if they didn't notice it, and it will have somehow some damage, or I don't know, something else, it will cause. I'm always saying not only we're going to lose money, relationship, I don't know, it will cost life. So it's very strict to.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's scaring, and you need to read this safety data sheet. So this is very, very important for everyone. And I'm always encouraging the customers, even when I'm reaching to cold call, etc., that they need to, from the first movement that you are thinking that this person can be your partner, you need to send this so that this person knows what kind of commodity they are going to move. Simply saying, the safety data sheet, it's a big document, so a lot of things there, but this is, and the brokers, they should ask from the customers, and the carrier should ask from their brokers. This is one of the stories I just wanted to mention.
Yeah, and I think there's probably a lot. One off the top of my head is the East Palestine, Ohio train car wreck. I think it was a couple years back. I mean, it can be a million things, and if you are dabbling in hazmat freight, it's very important that you are doing everything by the book, like Lusine is saying. Don't cut corners to make an extra buck.
Yes.
Find the right carriers, be partnered with the right people to make sure everything goes smoothly, because it can cost lives. Thank you so much for that, Lusine. Let's do one quick last little fun game here. I'm very interested to see how you handle this. It's going to be some hazmat trivia. All right. Okay. So we're going to put 1 minute on the clock here, and I'm just going to rattle off a couple hazmat questions. I don't know what half of these mean. These are all AI generated. So
okay.
Listen, if you have no idea, go ahead and just say skip. We'll go on to the next one. Okay.
Okay.
All right, here we go. All right, first question. How many hazard classes are there?
9.
Correct. What is a placard?
It's card that needs to be stick on the truck that shows it's hazardous freight.
On the outside of the truck. Yep, that's correct.
Yes.
Do hazmat drivers need special training?
Yes, certainly.
That's correct. How long should you keep hazmat shipping papers?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
How long should you keep hazmat shipping papers?
Till the delivery. Finalizing the delivery.
3 years is what I got here.
Oh, really?
Is battery shipment considered hazardous?
It's better.
Batteries. Are batteries considered hazardous?
Certainly, yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Can any truck driver haul hazmat?
Any? No. If they need to have a hazmat certificate to haul hazmat freight.
You got it. Okay. I mean, that was as good as you could possibly do there, Lusine.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining me on the show. Again, you were super gracious to even accept coming on here. Is there any advice or anything you want to say to anybody out there before we wrap the show up?
Yeah, I would love to say everyone just to be grateful what you have, first of all. This is very important thing. To stay a human being, whatever you are doing. In the end of the day, we're all human beings and we need to cherish each other. And the third thing about our industry, just to logistics specialist, find a right partner for you who knows what he or she does. For the carriers, find a broker who is willing to work with you in a dedicated way. And for new agencies and brokerage companies, so find a niche who is interesting for you and which will give you the way to grow. Because if you are standing where you are standing and you are not growing, it means you're going back. So standing in the same place, it's not a way. You need to grow, you need to learn, you need to study, and especially in the chemical freight, every single day we have news. Every single day we have partners are changing from here, the routes are changing. So we need to be on it every single day, every single minute. And thank you very much for invitation. It was great to talk to you and to share some insights. That's it.
It was truly my pleasure. Thank you again, Lusine. It's just so easy to see why you are successful, your approach to not only the industry, but life. Thank you again, and thank you everybody for joining. We have another new episode coming next Monday, 9 a.m. Central Time. We'll see you there. Bye, everybody.